Why does it feel like comedy movies aren't funny anymore? A couple of days ago, my buddy came by and he's never seen Blades of Glory. And if you haven't seen Blades of Glory, well, it stars Will Ferrell, Jon Heder, Will Arnett, Amy Poehler, Jenna Fischer, some pretty big names for a 2006 film. And obviously with someone like Will Ferrell, the movie is bound to just be kind of stupid. And sometimes that's the best type of comedy. But nowadays, comedy movies just aren't all that funny. I feel like comedy has changed in so many ways that the jokes you could get away with 15, 20 years ago, you can't get away with today, let alone 10 years ago. You cannot get away with them today. There's no proper amount of comedy that you could use from 10 years ago and put it in a comedy film or show right now and get away with it. Unfortunately, our society is filled with way too many people who get butthurt way too easily, and there's so much cancel culture nowadays. You have to be careful with everything you say and everything you do without having people get upset with you and cry about it over Twitter or anywhere on social media. I feel like any joke you can make in a comedy film now needs to be so Gen Z, millennial type of a comment or an action that would make the general public be like, okay, that's a safe environment and that's a safe area to make a joke. Jokes are meant to be uncomfortable. They're meant to be awkward. They're meant to be funny. Sometimes jokes are meant to be rude. How do you think some of these biggest comedians came out of their shell and became big? Because a lot of their jokes aren't the most appropriate. You look at a guy like Dave Chappelle. How did he get his name out there? He doesn't do the most appropriate jokes. You know, there's so many people out there. Ricky Gervais. Ricky Gervais has been under fire so many times for the type of comments and jokes he makes. And I feel like comedy isn't comedy anymore. It's just not funny anymore. A great comment Steve Carell said, I believe it was last year, when asked if The Office could ever return for a reunion. And whereas the idea has never been ruled out, he did say that a show like The Office would not survive today. And it's true, it wouldn't. You watch some of these Office episodes and they're getting away with jokes that if people heard today, they would lose their minds and people would cry about it all day, every day, until that specific person lost their job, their writer lost their job, or the show got canceled as a whole. I was trying to sit here and think of one of the funniest comedy movies I've watched recently that has come out within the past 5 years, and I can't. The most recent comedy movie I could think of that I really enjoyed was Game Night with Jason Bateman. And I love anything Jason Bateman. Even in saying that Game Night still has like a drama to it, it's not just full comedy. I can't think of a comedy movie that I like. Not today. Everything is just so mellowed out and boring. I'd say comedy is one of the worst genres we have today. I mean, there's also Horrible Bosses, but that's a little over 5 years ago now. I mean, yeah, I don't even really want to count that as one of the funniest comedy movies I've seen either. There's also all those movies with Kevin Hart, like Central Intelligence, and I don't even want to get into those because Kevin Hart after a while just kind of gets boring with all of his yelling. You know, it just feels like the days of like Chris Rock are gone. You know, the old school Jack Black and Will Ferrell too, gone. Will Ferrell's movies today suck. I wouldn't even want to sit through 10 minutes of one of his new films until he can make something that was just as funny as Step Brothers or Blades of Glory, okay, but I can't sit through these new comedy movies anymore. When I think of comedy, I can't even think, as I said, of a movie that's come out recently. I'm constantly going back to movies like Blades of Glory, Wedding Crashers, Superbad, Old School. Some of those really classic comedy films. A little more raunchier, a little more grimier, just very HBO, especially something like Superbad. There is a piece of me that believes that a lot of these comedians, a lot of these comedic actors have now entered the realm of serious acting, more dramatic. And I feel like, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like maybe a big reason they have done this is because they realize that the comedy realm, the comedy genre of the film industry just isn't there anymore. It doesn't have that spark. And like I've been saying throughout this whole video, I still remain to see a comedy movie that makes me laugh out loud like some of these older films. Look at Kicking and Screaming, another Will Ferrell movie. That's just a classic. School of Rock, that's funny. School of Rock is a legendary film. You know, they even tried making a School of Rock TV show with someone else playing Jack Black's role, and well, that didn't last long. I think it lasted like 4 episodes because it just wasn't funny and it wasn't the same. It's just so unfortunate because you see some of these massive legends in the comedy industry, and now that comedy has changed so much, where you can't make jokes anymore. It feels like comedy just dying. I don't want to watch a Melissa McCarthy film where all she does is make jokes about how large she is and just swears 24/7. Or same with Rebel Wilson. That's not funny to me. There's nothing clever about that. But that's okay. We're not gonna cancel culture them because they're making fun of themselves. But the minute they made fun of someone else's size, done. Cancel the movie. Fire everything. Fire everyone. That is the problem with comedy. We can't get anything funny anymore. Nothing truly funny. Because everyone is just too sensitive. That is the society we live in. And that is the generalized population. That is just how they feel now. And it sucks. So until that changes, I don't really know if we can truly get anything funny from comedy. I'm sure I'm wrong. I'm sure the day will come where we can, but I don't know. I don't see it being as funny as some of these movies were in the 2000s, from 2000 to 2010, if not even before in the 90s and the 80s. There's some funny classic movies. Anyways, guys, you never know. The cancel culture community might come actually and cancel me simply because of my opinion. But who knows? Maybe you'll see me again. All right, see ya.